Hello there, I'm Lou Bear. It's a great day to learn from each other. Thank you for considering civility. In this Good to Know segment, I want to speak briefly about a couple of terms. We are frequently teaching as civility practitioners civil communications or civility in business writing, civility in meetings, all sorts of communication scenarios, and in the public forum and out and about socially in schools, workplaces, and so on. One of the terms that I find people are frequently chatting about or debating, more correctly, is this notion of hate speech. And so I provided here a couple of definitions. Hate speech is speech that is intended, and by law, intention might not be the most important factor, but by definition, hate speech is intended to insult, offend, or intimidate a person because of some trait that we might perceive as a difference. So there's some bias or prejudice or stereotype being fostered, but the intention is the piece that I want to highlight here. This is from Merriam-Webster, but if we were to ask a lawyer, they would probably tell you that, for example, in harassment situations or what we might describe as a bullying situation where there's a pattern of speech that causes insult or injury, sometimes it doesn't matter that you intended it or not. What matters is that the outcome was an impression of being put upon, or that there was aggression behind the action or the speech, and that there was insult or injury, whether it was intended or not. And so, from a civility point of view, there's a measure of accountability and personal responsibility that we necessarily discuss when we teach civility and communications. I want to distinguish as well between hate speech and dangerous speech. So dangerous speech is any form of expression, which, so we expand a little bit to text, to images, to even nonverbal gestures, that increases the risk that its audience will condone or participate against others in a violent way. And so there's this sort of inciting, encouraging, maybe conscious or unconscious, motivating, encouraging, inspiring others to behave in an uncivil way towards others. And again, intention doesn't necessarily matter here. Whether or not we intend to cause harm, when we do cause harm as civil human beings, we're accountable for that harm. So this Dangerous Speech Project lists a few variables that can impact the extent to which speech, again verbal or nonverbal, might be perceived as dangerous. And some of those include, I'll read them off here for you: the speaker, the audience, the speech act, social and historical content and context, the means of dissemination. So how did we distribute it? Was it deliberately and widely distributed, or accidentally and innocently distributed? And when all the variables are maximized, does the speaker have a high degree of influence? Are they a person of power and authority? Does the audience have fear or grievances that the speaker can cultivate? And if you look at what's going on in our politics, all over the world in different countries, but particularly in the U.S. at the moment, we see examples of what I would describe as dangerous speech almost on an hourly basis in the news and in the media related to politics. A speech act that is clearly understood to call violence, so where there's no mistaking what the intent of the speech was. A social or historical context that precipitates violence. A means of dissemination that is influential in itself. So, for example, if there's a source that is perceived as credible, and that individual or a newspaper or a publicity outlet, a news station, etc., chooses in a deliberate and assertive way to distribute or engage or allow dangerous speech, then things become problematic. So I'd ask you, if you're a civility practitioner, a teacher, a trainer, even a parent, a leader in a workplace, to do consider the impact of your words, and do consider working with your HR team or legal team to devise more clearly what constitutes do not use words in terms of your overall workplace communication plan. Thanks so much. We'll see you again soon.